I did it again, didn't I? I did it again. Hello, hello everybody, hi. I accidentally was muted again. Again, that hasn't happened since the Pokemon stream. And you know what's so funny is I actually you know what's so funny is I actually made a reminder to myself to unmute before the stream, and I was even looking at the button consistently so I should not forget, and I still forgot. So yeah. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? Do I sound okay? Do I sound too loud? Is the music too loud? How is everybody? How is everybody? How are my dearest degenerates doing today? Yeah, as I was saying before I realized that I was muted, I kind of I thought today I just wanted to, as they say, hang out with my dearest degenerates and talk a bit of silly. Yeah, but yeah, quite unfortunate, if I might be so bold as to say that again I unmuted. I unmuted again. I no, that I muted. I muted again on accident. Anyway, hi everybody, I'm back. I was kind of gone for like a little bit, a tiny bit. I haven't really been as active somewhat, but because I was kind of handling different things that don't have to do with research, unfortunately, but still they required my attention. Wait, I gotta rest. I live in Asia and it's late and rest is important. Oh, well, yeah, yes, rest is very important, trust me. I know. I know. Get your rest, especially because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe most of the countries in Asia are like around this time it's like night, like late, like very late. So yeah, get your rest. It's quite imperative. Hi, Jean. Hello. Welcome to the lab, where we talk silly every now and then. How you doing? How you doing? I'm doing all right. Oh, I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking, Jean. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm a little, no, not exactly sleepy, but I'm a little bit kind of just a little bit, well, actually, no, I'm doing quite fine. I'm doing fine. A couple days ago, I was feeling very overwhelmed, somewhat, because of the other things that I was mentioning that I had to take care of. So I was a bit overwhelmed because of that, and also because I haven't been making content and stuff. So it's kind of, yeah, that kind of had me a little overwhelmed. But aside from that, I'm doing great. I'm good, kind of tired and bummed out, but otherwise pretty good. Oh, well, that's quite unfortunate that you're bummed out. I hope it gets better, whatever the cause may be. Whatever might be causing you to be bummed out. Yeah, whatever might be causing you to be bummed out. I hope you're able to come out of it. I hope you're able to come out of it great. Yeah. Oh, I hope you're doing better now. Content can be important, but never more important than your mental health. Yeah, I kind of have admittedly been struggling a little bit a little bit with that. I don't want to say that I've been getting burnout, the dreaded burnout. I don't want to say that I've been getting burnt out, but I definitely have been trying to kind of not get motivation, but I've definitely have been kind of just, I guess, I kind of have just been having trouble kind of sometimes I guess being consistent with certain things. Yeah. some I've been thinking admittedly I've been thinking a little bit about a break, but it kind of every time I think about taking a break, I just kind of get a little the fear that I'll come back, and the fear that I'll come back and everyone's gone. It's an irrational fear, some might say, but it's a fear I have. Yeah. Because fair, yeah. It's mainly because it's the whole it's technically I should have definitely before I took the form of this before I took the form of a 2D femboy and became a VTuber, as they say, I definitely should have. Now that I think about it, in hindsight, I should have taken a break then, if anything, but I didn't because I was too excited, and yeah. Because technically before I took on this 2D form, I made nonsensical rambling videos. I still technically do that, but yeah. I didn't have a form, as you could say. Yeah, I've made over 100. So yeah. Wait, question, do you have Twitch? My internet is horrible, and plus YouTube makes it so there is some delay. I do have a Twitch, but unfortunately, I haven't used it yet. I've definitely have been thinking about what's the word? What do you call it? Multi-streaming and doing all that. I just haven't gotten around to it. I technically do have it, but like if you go there now, there's nothing there. There's no stream. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're experiencing that. Yeah. Hi, Professor. How's the research going? Hi, Pancakey. Great to see you here. It's going quite splendid. Yeah, quite. I feel like my VTuber. Really quick. I feel like my VTuber model is like stuttering. It's bouncing all over the place. It's going splendid, Pancakey. It's going splendid. I've definitely been deep into research. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, after this stream, I'm going to start to work on the next video. I've also been working on a couple of shorts as well that are quite tantalizing, if I would be so bold as to say. Yeah. It's been, but what do you call it? But yeah, research is going good. How about you, Pancake? Have you been researching anything? I kind of what is it? I thought to just kind of I thought to in case you could I thought about wait, what am I talking? I've been researching slimes. Yeah, I've been researching slimes. I had a whole kerfuzzle of a thought right now. I've been researching slimes. I've been researching slimes in particular. And the different consistencies. Why? You're just going to have to wait and see. um, yeah, what do you call it? Aside from that, as I was saying, yeah, I've been kind of also handling some other things, some other non-research things. Yeah. But today I just thought, today I thought, I want to stream for my dearest degenerates. I want to enjoy their company for a bit, and here we are. The last stream of August. Yeah, before we go into September. Speaking about September, speaking about September, that's finally, when we enter into September, the heat should finally go down. Because it has been quite dreadful. It has been quite dreadful. But you know what else? But you know what also comes around? You know what also kind of comes around in September? The spooky season, as they say. Yeah. I was kind of thinking, but I'm not sure about I'm not sure if I should. No, I don't think it would be a problem, but I was kind of thinking of maybe streaming a horror game, or a couple horror games, when the spooky season finally fully comes into effect. As of right now, I kind of don't. As of right now, I have like three games. Like, I have 3 games currently. But that's about it. But 2 I haven't played. Yeah. Spooky. Yippee, no more heat. Spooky month. Yeah. I like spooky month. Spooky month is great. Spooky month is quite formidable of a month. It's kind of it's kind of there's kind of like an inexplicable change in the air there's kind of an inexplicable change that comes around, where you can just feel it. You can feel something changing, and you can feel the spookiness in the air somehow. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird feeling that I get every year. Research has expanded over our MRE Monster Girl. Yeah. Yeah. The research has definitely expanded. It's expanding continuously. But what was I going on about? What was I going on about? What was I going on about? Well, right, spooky month. Right, yeah. Actually, I've been kind of reading, I have been kind of admittedly reading a couple spooky books now, and it's been quite great. Yeah, it's been quite great. It's kind of not so much horror that's dealing with ghosts and paranormal and stuff like that, but kind of more admittedly it's kind of been admittedly kind of a bit of a, what's the word, it's a splatterpunk, I think is what it's called. Sorry, I'm at work and my bosses are spying on me. Oh, it's okay. It's okay, Pancakey. It's okay, Pancakey. You can always watch the stream after, if you so choose, if you so choose to, and it would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, we can make sure to not get caught by the looming bosses, Pancakey. But yeah, what was I? Oh yeah, I've been reading a couple spooky books. I kind of enjoy when it comes to horror, as morbid as it may sound. I kind of am a bit of a fan of the. I'm kind of a bit of a fan more of gore and that kind of thing when it comes to horror specifically. Then ghosts and things like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's not so much that it's scary. It's not, but it's kind of the thrill of it, I guess. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of why also most of the horror movies that I've seen, have also been just kind of mainly slashers and that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Not because they're scary, but more because they're just, there's a thrill to them, I guess. They're also just kind of fun sometimes. Sometimes. But yeah, I kind of, what is it? Oh yeah, now that I think about it, I actually haven't watched a horror movie since last year. Now that I think about it. Yeah. I should, now that I also think about it, I'm surprised I'm not afraid of, I'm surprised that I'm not scared of, those gory horror movies that I'm talking about, considering the fact that I'm afraid of most things. Yeah. I'm afraid of insects, toads and frogs, most of space, the ocean, most of the things in the ocean, heights, sports, technically ghost possessions, electricity, and fire. I'm afraid of most things, but I'm not afraid of that. There are some people that are yeah, but yeah. has has anybody how I didn't even ask. I'm sorry. How are all my dearest degenerates doing today? I think. I actually don't. Did I ask it? I'm not sure. For some reason, I'm way more scatterbrained than normal today. For some reason, it's always when I'm. For some reason today, I'm just absolutely my mind is just everywhere. Yeah. Now that I think about it, actually, wait a minute. Oh, right. I did want to. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Oh, well, I'm sorry you can't sleep. I'm very sorry you can't sleep. I mean, yeah. and some having a slight hint of insomnia is not fun. I would suggest counting sheep, but every time I've ever tried to count sheep, it hasn't worked. So I'm not sure if If that, that is a blatant lie, in my opinion. The premise of counting sheep, that's a blatant lie. Because if anything, with me at least, I just kind of become focused on I kind of just become focused on counting the sheep, and then before I know it, 2 hours have passed and I still have not fallen asleep. I remember one time I tried the method of counting sheep and then never again, because I got to, like, I think 560 sheep. 560 sheep, and I still hadn't fallen asleep. Yeah. Yeah. What tends to work for me is just kind of thinking of when I can't sleep, I just kind of do one of two things. One, I start to kind of really think about something, but, well, not so much think about it, but more so kind of just keep it in my mind, and eventually I assume my mind just kind of my mind just kind of gets tired of thinking of that thing and falls asleep. That's one. Another thing that I do is I'll play a game that usually works, where basically I close my eyes, and then I say for absolutely no reason, and for absolutely basically I close my eyes, and I basically, no matter what I hear, no matter what I think, do not open my eyes. And that usually tends to work. That usually tends to help me fall asleep. Yeah. But yeah, I don't suffer from insomnia, surprisingly, despite the eye bags on my eyes. Despite the eye bags that I carry on my eyes, I don't suffer from insomnia. Although it does take me a while to fall asleep, I don't suffer from insomnia. Yeah. I know somebody that does. Suffer from insomnia, though. Yeah. It's quite unfortunate. Especially because he goes to sleep, like, at 8 o'clock in the afternoon and wakes up at, like, 7. But he goes to sleep that early because who knows when he's gonna fall asleep. Yeah. What is it? What do you call it? But yeah. Aside from that, I mean, Well, see, now I'm thinking. Aside from counting sheep, and the obvious taking sleep medication and all that, aside from that, as for, do you feel alone? Me? No, not really. No, not really. I think, no, not really. No. Well, no, I'm not. Do you feel lonely? If so, I'm very sorry. If so, I'm very sorry. I don't usually feel alone or lonely, actually. Mainly because I'm always in my own thoughts and kind of in my own head all the time. So I don't really feel lonely, but also I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert and somewhat of a shut-in, somewhat. So loneliness doesn't really bother me too much. I actually sometimes because I'm an introvert, I kind of do appreciate my my alone time. I like being alone sometimes. No, I'm just asking. Oh, okay. No, I'm not lonely or alone. No. And I have I'm not lonely or alone. And when I am, I don't really mind too much because yeah, yeah. Why am I crying? I just realized that. Yeah, but yeah. Um, yeah. No, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, right, I was going on a rambling. I was rambling about sleep and insomnia. Yeah. So it's okay. You can go. Okay. Um. Hmm. Um. Oh, right. I was talking about how technically aside from counting sheep, which I think is a blatant lie, and obviously sleep medication and all that. I mean, some people do take, some people uh, listen to what do you call it? ASMR. Some people listen to that and that helps them sleep. I'm not sure if you're in. I'm not sure if that help. Because you know, ASMR is one of those things where you either really like it or you really hate it. From what I've seen, like there's no in between. From what I've seen, people either really like it or really hate it. Yeah. Um, me, technically me. Now that I think about it, I did for a little bit consume some of the autonomous sensory meridian response, if I might say. But that was a while ago. That was years ago. That was in the past. That was in the past. But yeah. Yeah, but yeah. You know what's you know what's you know what's actually you know what's actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of something that kind of still kind of not necessarily confuses me, but kind of it kind of does always surprise me every time I hear it. People that say that I have a nice voice. I'm not. I mean, I've gotten several people that have told me that I have a nice voice, and I always thought my voice didn't sound that great, but I guess I'm wrong. I guess. Yeah. Although technically, although technically, technically, if I'm being completely honest, and if I have a little bit of a secret, somewhat, when it comes to, I have a little bit of a secret that not too many people know about, and it's that, I technically, in another lifetime, many moons and suns ago, I technically did do a bit of ASMR, a little bit. In another lifetime, in many moons and suns ago, many years prior. Okay, maybe not many years prior, but I did. Yeah. And I know what you're thinking. No, I didn't keep doing it. I love listening to your scatterbrained voice. I love listening to your scatterbrained voice. Also, I'm going to lurk until my bosses stop watching. Okay, Pancakey. Yeah, I'm kind of imagining your bosses just kind of like I'm imagining your bosses are just kind of staring you down. Like, it might not be the case, but I'm kind of just imagining your boss is like staring you down, like, like you're working, and they're just like I'm just imagining them doing that. Like, he's onto something. He's up to something. I can feel it. I can feel he's up to something. But yeah. But yeah, little known fact that I technically did do ASMR many years ago, just to kind of give it a shot. And actually didn't do too bad, but to my surprise, but yeah. I didn't really enjoy it all that much, and this was kind of around the point where this was kind of around the point where my nonsensical ramblings about flat chests and Plappies and Gardevoir being the ideal Pokemon and all that. This is kind of around that point. And people were surprisingly liking that. And so yeah, I kind of stopped doing it. Yeah. I technically suppose wouldn't be opposed to doing it, but yeah. Yeah. I have been thinking about doing it in the future, admittedly, as maybe I'm not sure. Maybe a reward or something. I'm not sure. For the people that want it. Because at one point I did mention starting a Patreon. Because at one moment I did mention starting a Patreon, and I've been thinking about the rewards, and I was like, I could do that technically. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. I can. Anyway, I was thinking. You want to know something I've been thinking about recently that has kind of been plaguing my mind? I've been thinking. Do you think that if what is it? Do you think that if what do you call it? If a giantess spoke, it would even sound coherent? Like, think about it, right? Think about it. If you heard a monster woman's, if you heard a giantess speaking, do you really think it's going to sound coherent? Do you really think you'll be able to understand what she's saying? Because I've been kind of thinking about it, and it's kind of it's quite interesting. because think about it. Because think about it. If a giant speaks, and let's say they even are able to speak words, I feel like it would be so loud and so abrupt of a sound that the sound barrier would explode. The sound barrier would explode, and it would just be so loud so loud that I feel that to the common person it would just sound incoherent. If they even are able to hear it, because I feel if you're close enough to hear a giantess, I don't think it would be wrong to assume that your eardrums are going to explode also. I'm intrigued. Yeah, because think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Most giantess, I said in one of my videos, I'm not sure what I said, but I think to be considered a giantess, they have to be at least 100 feet, I think. At least 100 feet, I think. And And technically, the bigger the creature, the louder they sound. So yeah, I feel. Yeah, I feel people wouldn't be able to actually understand a giantess if they actually came into contact with one. Like, it would literally just sound like rumbling and like loud. It would be like a T-Rex. It would be like a T-Rex, I think, where it just sounds like rumbling. Where it just sounds. Has anybody have actually have any have anybody have anybody have any of you have any of you have it have any of you what is it? Have any of you listen to what an actual T-Rex sounds like according to scientists? Because apparently they don't sound the way they do in the movies. Quite a big shocker, I know, but apparently they it sounds kind of like a rumble more than anything, because they didn't have a, what do you call it, a larynx, so they couldn't actually roar. They could just like rumble and send like clicks, like guttural clicks. Yeah, quite enticing. And if anything, I feel, and if anything, if a giantess sounded like that, I'm going to say it. I, f- I, f- I feel if a giantess actually sounded like that, less people would be willing to smash one. Like, imagine you're running away from a 50-foot woman, and then you decide to hide behind like a building, and you just hear the whole ground. You just hear everything rumble. You just hear a rumble and guttural clicks, and everything around, and everything, including your body, starts shaking. Then, because yeah, that would make for a great horror movie. Huh? Since we're on the topic of horror movies, somewhat. Well, we were at one point. But yeah. Um, hmm. But yeah. um. Now that. Hmm. Hmm. I just kind of I kind of remembered something I said in a short, actually, where I said, "Could you smash dinosaur women?" and now I'm thinking about that, and I'm also thinking about what what's the most what do you call it what what do you call it? What's the most now that I think about it, what do you guys think is like, what do my dearest degenerates think is the most underrated monster woman? That's like a crossbreed of human and a creature. because there's kind of a monster girl for everything. There's kind of a monster girl for every kind of creature. There's so many. There's so many crossbred species. Yeah. That but not all of them get attention. Hmm. 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 You know, I think, I think if anything, I think if anything, um, probably, I would say, no, I was going to say squirrel, like a squirrel woman, but no, the most underrated monster woman that's like a cross species of human and something else, I would have to say, it has to be a it has to be a creature that nobody really thinks about all too much. Hmm. tapeworm monster girl. A tapeworm monster girl. Tapeworm Chan. Yeah. Tapeworm Chan. Imagine it. You know, actually, considering how a tapeworm works, I feel some people would probably be into that, but still. Still. Nobody really talks about tapeworm Chan. Tapeworm monster women. Ferret women. That's actually not a bad. Yeah. Actually, nobody really mentions ferrets now that I think about it. So yeah, probably. Actually, yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. A ferret is kind of like. I kind of always imagined ferrets as kind of like, what do you call it? Kind of like a fox and a squirrel, kind of. That's how I always imagined it. like a fox and a squirrel, kind of mixed. Kind of. Like, cause I'm thinking about it, and now wait, fox and a squirrel mixed. I'm thinking about it and I can kind of see it, but yeah. Tapeworm Chan is inside of you right now, Professor. Don't say that. Thank you. Don't say that. I love worms. I love worms, but tapeworms are ones that I'm genuinely. They give me they make me feel compromised. Yeah. But which, you know, that's actually a surprising thing, actually. Ever since I was a child, I was afraid of most things, but I actually really loved worms. Actually, I've always really loved worms. I've always had a soft spot for worms. Like, I would intentionally dig in the dirt to find worms, and I always knew where they were. I always knew where the worms were. Like, in theory, technically, if anybody ever needed a worm, easy. I knew exactly where the worms hid in the dirt. Also, spider girls have nice legs. Yeah, I guess, maybe. I don't. See, see, I don't. I wish I could not be afraid of monster women. There are some that I'm not, but considering the fact that I'm afraid of spiders quite intensely, might I add, it's kind of hard. It's definitely hard. Not. I realized just now that could be taken out of context. It's hard to like Spider Woman when you're afraid of spiders. Yes, that's what I meant. Not the other thing that you could have probably thought from that out of context. Not the other thing. Yeah. I suppose actually really any insect girl is kind of very underrated in the Monster Woman realm. In the Monster Woman side of things. It makes sense. it's unfortunate, but it's unfortunate, but it makes sense. Like, like imagine, like imagine, like imagine a, imagine a, imagine a, imagine a cricket girl, a cricket girl. I feel I feel a cricket woman, girl, monster woman would be very what's the word? What's the word? Flexible. Mainly because haven't you seen how crickets make the sound they make? They literally put like their back legs or like up, and then they kind of rub them together like you would a violin or something, and then yeah, and then the bigger they are, the louder they are. Yeah. Also, spider girls have. Wait, I'm scared. Plus, my friends call it scorny. Is that is that kind of is that kind of is that kind of that reminds me of what's the other word? There's another word, isn't there? For that, it's scaroused. Scaroused. Yeah, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that also. Scaroused, scorny. I feel one is more intense than the other. I don't get scaroused or scorny. I'm going to be honest. I'm not, I don't quite understand. No, I guess I do understand. But, I don't, see, I'm a person that who's if I get scared, my fight or flight instinct kind of activates, and that kind of overrides any feeling of scaroused. Scaroused, yeah. But yeah. Now that I think about it. Well, now that I think about it, maybe because actually, technically, actually, now that I think about it, technically, I've seen depictions of some insect women, and some of them don't look too bad, despite the fact that the actual real life counterparts are nightmare fuel to me. Like a mantis woman. That one's not too bad, but the real thing is scary. It's very scary. Do you know what's one thing that I don't understand about insects? Here's one thing that I don't understand about insects. Apart from the fact of here's one thing that I don't understand about insects. Why is it that the female always has to be like 10 times larger than the male? I mean, I guess. Actually, now that I think about it, I haven't researched that, but at the same time, I know why I haven't researched that, because I know that I'm going to get images thrown in my face of insects, and I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that, because immediately, as soon as I see something that's a little bit too high quality of an image, I'm going to backspace, and I'm going to get out of that whole experience without learning anything. But yeah, I'm assuming, if I had to guess, I'm assuming it's because the, you know, insects kind of insects kind of live to breed and to kind of make more of themselves. So I'm assuming the reason why the female is bigger than the male is because is to kind of ensure the safety and the likelihood of the insect eggs or whatever, the insect offspring continuing. I think, if I had to guess, if I had to take a wild guess. But yeah, the males in the insect world look puny by comparison. I've seen them. I'll never forget I was traumatized one time when I was a lot younger, by a praying mantis. I was traumatized by a praying mantis, because it happened to be a female praying mantis, and at the time, it might not have been, but at the time, I was very much traumatized and afraid, because this insect, which praying mantises don't need to be as big as they are. I don't know why they're huge like they are. I swear to you. I swear to you. I swear to you, this praying mantis that I saw was like the size of a small puppy. It was like the size. It was like 7 inches. No, well, at the time. Again, I don't know if it actually looked like that, but like if it was actually that huge. But at the time, it felt that way. It looked and felt like it was like 7 feet. No, not 7 feet. 7 like inches long, and like 4 inches tall, like the size of like a small puppy. Yeah, it was huge. It was huge, and from that day on, I lived with an immense fear of praying mantises. Anyway. So I feel so actually, now that I think about it, I just remembered something else I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of technically rats, and yeah. I've come to the conclusion that I'm afraid of everything. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm trying to remember. See, one thing I kind of have the bad habit of doing. One thing that I one thing that I kind of have the bad habit of doing, when I stream, is I kind of have a bad habit of that. I just kind of like I feel like I need to talk about something interesting. Not necessarily something moving and super like super amazing, but like, I don't know. I feel like I need to say something that has value to it, but at the same time, technically I can talk about anything. Technically, yeah, I have the bad habit. I have that bad habit. Yeah. You know, hmm, actually, is it, actually, you know what I've been kind of looking into recently? Again, that has kind of piqued my interest again. I've been looking into, gun, gunpla and Gundams again. like, I kind of was very interested in it for a bit, and then kind of stopped. But yeah, I'm kind of trying to get back into it again. I tried to at one point. I tried to watch the I tried to at one point. I swear I did. I tried to watch the actual series that it's based off, the Gundam series, and I got to episode 2, yeah, and then kind of didn't watch anything else after that. And there's like 12 different Gundam series. But yeah, I'm starting. One thing that I've come to realize, and I've come to acknowledge and accept, is that I'm not very. Is that I'm not much of a. Is that I'm not much of a. I'm not much of a. What do you call it? I mean, I'm starting to realize that I'm not much of a. This might be quite a controversial topic. Just a heads up. This might be quite contentious, but I'm not really that into like super action packed, um, super action packed, intense fight, intense anime. all too much all too much. like I've come to realize over time that the main thing that I like watching when it comes to the 2D anime is the slice of life. Yeah, I adore slice of life animes. Those are my go-to, and the ones I most enjoy. Yeah, I'm not really too much of a person that enjoys fight scenes and stuff in anime too much. There are tons of people that do, and that's great, and that's great for them. But me, I kind of would much prefer a slice of life anime. To some people it sounds crazy, but yeah. Instead of watching a man or a woman, instead of watching a protagonist, what is it? Instead of watching a protagonist of an anime fight a kingdom to overthrow a demon lord, to then overthrow a space demon lord, to then overthrow a space quantum interdimensional demon lord. I'd much rather watch like an anime about a bookstore or something. Yeah, I know, quite the contentious opinion. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah. Like for example, the ones that I'm watching right now, technically the ones that I'm watching right now not at this very moment, but the ones that I'm currently watching right right now are kind of they're kind of they're kind of a doozy, and they're kind of ones that aren't very talked about or common all too much. Like I've never heard a single person say they watched this anime. um I'm watching currently. Well, actually, no. There's two. There's two that are very popular. But there's also like three others that never get mentioned. um, currently the ones that I'm partaking in are one is literally called Tonkatsu DJ Agetaro. Tonkatsu DJ Agetaro. which is literally about a guy, which is literally about a boy that wants to be a DJ, but he also loves kontatsu because it's the family business. So then he's like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be the first ever kontatsu DJ. Tonkatsu DJ Agetaro. pretty decent anime. Pretty good. Pretty sumptuous. That's not the right word. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Very underrated. Very underrated. And then I've also been watching Skullface bookseller Honda-san. That one's quite fun. Although it's kind of it's kind of very much I really feel that if a person really likes like their action and fight scenes, they're not gonna like that one. Because it's literally just talking about like, it's an anime about like a skull-faced person, a skeleton really, that works in a bookstore along with a bunch of other people, and they kind of just describes what it is like to work in a bookstore, like actual real life experience with a bookstore, because the person who made Skullface bookseller Honda-san actually did work a bookstore, and the anime is like a little biography type of thing. It's like a it's an anime that's supposed to like share his experiences while working in a bookstore. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And then technically I'm watching two and then technically I'm watching two that are very well known. They have a lot of people that like them. One is Nichijo, My Ordinary Life. That one's a doozy. It's very strange, but I like strange. And then I'm technically watching. What's it called? Wait, what was it called again? Oh right. I'm watching. I'm technically watching Lucky Star, because it's very strange but it's also quite humorous. and then recently I started, and this one's right up my alley. Recently I started watching Emma, a Victorian romance. Yeah. And that's what I've been watching. I know, absolutely phenomenal. Impeccable even. Taste. But yeah. So what if you don't mind me asking, what have you degenerates been watching that's in the 2D anime side of things? And yes, I say 2D because there is 3D anime actually. There are 3D anime specimens, believe it or not. They aren't really acknowledged all too much, I'll admit. And it's a shame. But yeah, they do exist. But what 2D anime are my dearest degenerates watching? Actually, now that I think about it, there's a 3D anime that I really enjoyed, and then I stopped watching for whatever reason. And it technically is 3D. It's not 2D. And it's like, see, there are a lot of the problem with 3D is that it tries to do the same thing as 2D and it doesn't work. But this one actually did everything right, and the story was great. It was Land of the Lustrous. Yeah, that's what it was. The ones with the women that are made of gems, that are literally, their bodies are constructed entirely out of gem because they are gems. There's like diamond and amethyst and a whole bunch of others. I'm watching One Piece and a few other animes right now. Oh. Okay, be honest with me. How far are you into One Piece? How far are you into that anime? See, yeah. How far are you into it? Have you even reached the thousands yet, or no? like genuinely asking. I would watch One Piece if I could, but it takes me way too long. It takes me way too long to finish an anime with a normal amount of episodes. So I think if I watched One Piece, it would take a lifetime. because it takes me, like, for the average anime series, which takes which has like 25 episodes. Well, no, most have like just 12 episodes. And if they have like a lot, maybe like 25. And then anything after 25, they just, my model keeps stuttering. And then that's so strange. And then if they go beyond 25 episodes, then they just make a new season. It takes me roughly this is going to sound insane. But it takes me it takes me roughly, if I really like an anime, it takes me roughly 3 to 4 months to finish a 25 episode anime. If I don't really care too much for it, but I still kind of like it, it could take me like half a year. and if it's a 12 episode anime, then if I really like the anime, it could take me like 2 weeks. And if I don't really like it, but it's not bad, maybe 3 months, something like that. So you can imagine, with an anime with 1,000 episodes plus, it's going to take me a lifetime. I don't think I'll ever be able to reach the end. 8th time rewatching the show, I rewatch it randomly to build up. 8th time rewatching the show, I rewatch randomly to build up new episodes to binge. there's just there isn't much about the there isn't much about the anime. I don't know. I mean, wow. There isn't much about the anime. I don't know. Wow. Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive. If I had a hat, I would bow. If I had a hat, I would say hats off to you. That's a saying, right? But yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. That's impressive. Have you actually read the manga though, or do you just watch the anime? I actually don't even know if the anime is finished. And no, not the anime. The manga is finished yet. I actually don't even know if the manga is finished yet. The day that the anime actually finishes, it's going to make headlines. I have no doubt. The day One Piece ends is it's going to make headlines. I no doubt. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know much about One Piece, I'm going to be honest. I think I watched the first episode like years ago out of curiosity. And I technically have a few what was the name of that one magazine? No, what was the name of that one thing that was popular? That I'm not sure if they're as popular anymore, but Shonen Jumps. Yeah, I technically have a few Shonen Jumps with One Piece, and that's about all my exposure to One Piece. And then the only things I know about One Piece is that Luffy, I think. Luffy is a rubber person because he ate a demon fruit, and he wants to become king of the pirates. And there's a One Piece that he's been searching endlessly for. That one character with the hat is called Chopper, and that's about all I know. That's about all I know. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of have definitely actually, since we're on the topic of manga, I kind of surprisingly have been reading more manga as of late. Actually, I read the entire Please Don't Bully Me, Miss Nagatoro series. Yeah, I read the entirety of that. First online, and then I bought the entire complete collection of mangas at Anime Expo. Yeah, so I'm very glad I got those. And I've also been reading another manga that I'm mad at myself that I didn't bookmark because it was really good, and now I have to remember what it's called. The manga is close to finishing, and I don't read the manga due to my personal gripes with manga readers. They spoil everything all the time. Well, that's a stereotype. Well, that's a stereotype. That's a stereotype, isn't it? Isn't it? Like technically, I don't think I could be wrong. I don't think, but I think like I said, I've read the entirety of Don't Bully Me, Miss Nagatoro, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're on their second season. I don't think that it's finished quite yet. And technically, because I read the manga, I technically know everything that's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah, it's kind of it is kind of funny. I'll admit, it's kind of fun somewhat to like see people. It's you see, it sounds mean when I think about it. It sounds mean somewhat for some reason to me, but it's kind of funny. Seeing like the people watch the anime of Nagatoro. They're watching the anime of Nagatoro, and I already know everything that's going to happen. Any questions that they have, I know the answers to. I don't tell them, but still. When One Piece ends, Shonen Jump will go under due to the power vacuum. Oh, is that kind of like are you basically saying that One Piece is like heavily keeping Shonen Jump in business? Is that what you're saying? I've been spoiled exactly 37 times by manga readers for One Piece this year alone. And I work with those jerks. I'm very sorry, Pancakey. You have my condolences. that's very unfortunate, but yeah, I can like I'm trying to imagine how it goes, and I'm imagining you're just like at work and like a break, and then they just sit down and they're just like they sit down and then they're like, so yeah anyway this character is gonna die. Also that thing that they did in that thing, yeah, none of that's gonna matter. Yeah, I'm just imagining that. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's kind of screwy a little bit. It's a little bit messed up, but it's funny. Miss Nagatoro is on my watch list. Okay. It's good. It's good. I haven't watched the anime, but I have read the manga, and the manga is really good. I don't know how it compares to the anime, but from what I hear, it's pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. And I was almost going to spoil something. I'm not going to say it, but you know what's so funny? I actually didn't want anything to do with Nagatoro. I didn't want anything to do with it because I thought it was really cringy. I thought it was going to be very cringy. I thought it was going to be this like insufferable anime, and stuff, and things like that. But hello Tib, hello, nice to see you. And we're talking about and gosh, what was I saying? I'm sorry, hang on. I'm trying to remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I thought it was going to be this like insufferable anime about like, I thought it was going to be this like insufferable like anime about like just a girl that picks on this boy, and that was kind of on this on this guy, on this poor defenseless guy. And then it turns out, and I remember there was like the thing, I think, yeah, no, the thing that caused me to kind of give it a shot, surprisingly, even to myself, was that was this one clip that I watched where I don't know why, but it genuinely felt like a very tender dear clip. Like it felt endearing through the screen, and if and stuff like it felt very like cute. And then I was like, maybe I'm misjudging this anime. But you know what? I'm not gonna watch the anime. I'm gonna read the manga. And so then I read it, and then before I knew it, one volume turned to 2, and then 2 turned to 5, and then before I knew it, I was completely into this series. And now it's one of my favorite series ever. Yeah. Yeah, yes, that's exactly how it happens, except they don't wait till I'm on break. Oh. Oh, that's so messed up. But it's that's so messed up. That's so incredibly that's so incredibly disdainful. I'm so sorry. And One Piece makes way too much money for them, and is the longest running series left. Yeah, that is true technically. and yeah, I wouldn't doubt that they make an absurd amount of money for Shonen Jump. Because technically, if I'm not wrong, most of the other series that were very popular in Shonen Jump, they've all ended, right? I'm like Gintama, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter. Those all have ended, right? Those all have ended like a long time ago, didn't they? Yeah. And One Piece is still going. And One Piece is still going. Yeah. There's also a couple others that I'm not remembering right now. You know what's one thing I remember seeing in a Shonen Jump that it surprised me to see it in there because it kind of just felt different than anything else I had seen in a Shonen Jump. It was a manga. Well, there was like a portion of Shonen Jump where it was like an actual like manga, but it was like a kind of a slice of life kind of thing, but like kind of like not, because it was kind of like about like Sudoku. It was kind of like about Sudoku. You know, the Japanese game. It was about that. and I remember kind of like threw me off because it was kind of different from anything else I've seen in Shonen Jump. Like the closest thing to that was like the Yu-Gi-Oh series and stuff like that. Actually, which I was into when I was a lot younger. I was very much into Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. When I was younger. Surprisingly way more into Yu-Gi-Oh than Pokemon. But that's mainly because I was exposed more to Yu-Gi-Oh than Pokemon. Yeah, and for whatever reason, I am stuttering so much on the screen. I don't know why. Not like my actual stutter, but like my model is like all over the place. I don't know what's going on today. But yeah, and for some reason in school, Yu-Gi-Oh was way more popular than Pokemon somehow. So yeah. I never learned how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. That's the funny part. I never learned how to play the game, but I have like a ton of cards old cards from back then. And technically some Pokemon cards too, but definitely way more Yu-Gi-Oh. And you know what is quite unfortunate too, and for lack of a better word, sucks, is the fact that um is the fact that is the fact that from what I hear, Yu-Gi-Oh is not what it used to be. It like the actual card game is like unrecognizable from how it used to be. And I remember I recently actually, I tried to watch like this other VTuber that like her main thing is like Yu-Gi-Oh and different card games, TCGs and things like that. I tried to watch I tried to watch her play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh, like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, which is surprisingly her favorite. Um and I didn't understand. I did not understand what was happening. And the thing that was confusing and surprising to me was the fact that it was literally like, I kid you not, like the turn was so long. It was like, I genuinely went like, I genuinely said, I genuinely remember sitting there and saying, are you going to end your turn yet? Or like, because it was literally like you wait, Yu-Gi-Oh is a little complicated. Yeah, it always has been complicated, but apparently it's way more complicated now. Like modern Yu-Gi-Oh is way more complicated now, and apparently it's like I said, I watched like a game, like a VTuber play a game of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was literally like, okay, I'm going to put this card down, and then I'm going to sacrifice it, and then put this card, and now with that card on the field, I can bring in this card, and this card allows me to bring in this card. I'm going to sacrifice this card, and then I'm going to bring this card, and then I'm going to put this spell here, which allows me to sacrifice this card, and then I'm going to merge these two together, and then I'm going and then I'm going to sacrifice that card so I can bring out this other big card, and then I'm going to bring this other card out, and I'm going to sacrifice that card so I can bring in the spell card out, and then I'm going to put the and it was literally like that, and I was like, are you going to end your turn yet? You've done like 30 different things in one turn. Well, I love Yu-Gi-Oh, but I've been trying to play online, but I suck. Yeah, I'm right there with you. In that I suck. Not. Yeah. Also, one thing a lot of people don't know is One Piece is a huge mystery series, so being spoiled hurts. When the manga ends, the mystery will be ruined for all non-manga readers. Oh, 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 gosh, gosh. That 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 actually hurts me a little. Actually, and I don't even watch One Piece, but like literally, if somebody spoiled One Piece for me, they would have to literally go through the entire thing. But you know what's so funny is I'm imagining when the manga ends, anytime that a non-manga reader, I feel like because the manga readers will basically, like me with Nagatoro, know everything and the answer to everything by that point. um Literally the non-manga readers are just going to be terrified to even get close to the manga readers. Like, I feel like there's going to be this tension of distrust between them. Because at any moment they could spoil. At any moment they could spoil the last parts. And it's like I read about manga. Wait, no, I read a manga about manga, yes. I read a manga about Go. Go? Go? Go. Go. Hmm. I actually don't know what manga you're talking about. I've, t- I've taken bathroom breaks while playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, like, what do you mean? Like you go to the bathroom and the person still hasn't ended their turn. The person is still going on their turn. The worst part is when people start taking their turn during your turn too. Oh yeah, because in Yu-Gi-Oh it has that thing where you can like where you can use cards during your opponent's turn, huh? Yeah. That must really, for like a better word, suck. That was really, for like a better word, suck so hard. Like you're trying to play the game. You're trying to play the game, and your opponent just took like 3 whole minutes to do their turn, and you're about to do something. You feel like you feel like that anticipation to like you're setting up the board, and then all of a sudden they whip something out, and then you just have to sit there, and you just have to sit there and wait for them to do this whole over elaborate combo. That just like that just gives you a hard time. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't. Yeah, but as I said, I was never too in. Well, no, I was into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I was more into the anime and like the cards, like looking at like collecting the cards, I guess, because I never learned how to play, as I said. um, um, yeah. I kind of am starting to know how to play Pokemon now, somewhat kind of starting to know how to, because I didn't know how to play Pokemon the card game either. But see, I don't know if it's exactly the same. Probably not, I'm assuming. Actually, no, definitely probably not. Cause but like aside from the whole energy thing, I kind of have been learning how to play Pokemon thanks to the thanks to the Pokemon TCG game, you know. Technically. And I know it's not the same because in the actual card game, like the actual physical card game, you need to actually draw the energy you need, and in the TCG game, like the kind like the mobile game, you get an energy every turn. Yeah. Um. And, though, though. Wait. Silk Song is coming out in 4 days. What? Okay. I might be a little ignorant. I might be a little bit kerfuzzled. What is this Silk Song that you speak of? Because it's not the first time that I'm hearing this term, Silk Song. I've heard it like around the internet for like the past month consistently, and I've never really bothered to like look into it, you know. And you're saying that it's coming out in 4 days. I thought it was already out. I thought it was already a thing that people were, I guess, enjoying and things. I need to and things. And now I'm just curious. Now I'm just completely. Now I feel out of the loop. Hollow Knight sequel about Hollow Knight sequel about Hornet. Oh. Oh. Okay. See, that would explain why. That would explain why so many VTubers I've seen have been playing Hollow Knight. Like hurriedly. Like in a hurry. these past couple days. Like I've seen some that have just been like that have never played Hollow Knight and they're just like really going at Hollow Knight recently. That explains it. That explains it. Also, I'm sorry. Also, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. My model's like extremely jittery today. I'm not sure why. Yeah, Hollow Knight. I didn't even know Hollow Knight was getting a sequel. That's pretty neat. I kind of always wanted to play Hollow Knight. I just never have given it a shot. Although, I'm going to be honest, it's definitely right up my alley. I definitely adore games that are like that. Like platform games. Because technically it's a platform game, right? Hollow Knight. It's like one of those really challenging platform games. Although one could say that most platform games are difficult. But it's one of those like it's kind of one of those like I'm trying to think of what kind of like well no. It's a platform game. I know that. With like bosses and things like that. Kind of like technically platform games are a very traditional type of game because they've been around since like the 80s. So yeah. Yeah. I am quite a, dare I say, sucker. I'm quite a sucker for those games. Yeah, it's a platform Metroidvania. Yeah, I thought so. I thought so. I thought so because yeah. I adore games like that. I've only played a couple in recent memory that I can remember. But yeah, I do adore those games. I played like I like I've played technically it's a platform game technically. I played Shovel Knight. I played Shovel Knight and beat it. That one was really fun. That one was really fun. And not only did I beat Shovel Knight, I beat the gosh, what was it? It was like the 3-night set or something. I forget. It was like the one where it's the Shovel Knight game, the Plague Doctor game, and like this other guy who's like a royal king kind of thing or something. Yeah. It was kind of it was like a collection of Shovel Knight games, and I beat them. Yeah, I beat that, and then I beat and then technically there was this other one that was arguably a little bit more challenging. It was the what was it called? It was like a game that took like heavy inspiration on Castlevania. Took like heavy inspiration from Castlevania. I think it might have even been tied to Castlevania in some way. I'm not sure. It was called Bloodstained, I think, Curse of the Blood Moon, something like that. Bloodstained Curse of the Blood Moon, I think. That one was tricky. That one was very hard. But it was very fun, but very hard. I remember I actually rage quit that game on the final boss battle. Because I could not understand what I was supposed to do to beat that boss. And then I remember one day I was just like, man, I've gotten all the way to the end. I'm literally at the final boss. The final boss. You know what? I'm going to go give it another go. I'm going to play the final boss, and technically the final level because you have to go through a whole level to get to the boss. I'm going to play until I beat this boss. I don't care if it takes me 8 hours. I don't care if it takes me 10. I'm going to beat this boss. And it just so happened that yeah, I actually managed to figure out how to beat the last boss. Turns out I wasn't doing the thing I was supposed to be doing. Yeah. And then dead cells. Dead cells. Shovel Knight treasure trove. Oh yeah, no, I think yeah. Shovel Knight treasure trove. Yeah, that one. And Bloodstain, Curse of the Blood Moon, I think. Let me look that up because I'm very curious now. Bloodstain, Curse of Blood Moon. 2018 action platform game. Yeah. Yeah, it was Bloodstained Curse of the Blood Moon, yeah. Yeah, it was. I beat it. I remember I actually cheered when I beat that. Yeah. Especially because it started getting very, tricky. Yeah, like I said. Like it was doing that thing that some games do, where before you enter to fight the boss, there's literally a pit, and there's nothing to tell you that, there's nothing to hint at it. I just, for funsies, I decided to throw myself off of the cliff and into the pit. Well, it wasn't a cliff, but off the platform and into the pit. Turns out there were invisible stairs there. With no signs or clues that it even is there. Yeah, it was one of those games sometimes. Professor, you should play Cat Mario. Don't give him ideas. Cat Mario is a rage game, right? It's a rage game, isn't it? Right? It's like Mario but cat, right? But also very unfair. Isn't it? I could swear it is. And if you're saying don't give him ideas because I might get a little angry. Joke's on you, I don't get angry at games. Never. I never get angry at games. I am a stoic person of calm. Who I could... Games don't make me angry. Games don't make me rage. Rage is not a thing that I do in games. Yeah, it's a rage game? Okay. Well, yeah, joke's on you. I don't rage in games. I don't rage. I don't know the definition of rage. I mean, I do, but I don't know the definition of rage in the context of games. Yeah. No, seriously though, it takes me it actually takes a lot for me to actually get upset with a game. Like, for me to actually legitimately, genuinely get angry with a game and upset, and like, it has to be like really, like, I feel it has to really try. It has to really try to make me angry. Funny little thing. I was actually thinking, but I kind of decided against it. But honestly, maybe next week. I was thinking of playing. I was thinking of playing Jump King with you guys. Well, playing Jump King on stream. and have a nice, relaxing, calm play Jump King, which is supposed to be a rage game. Have a nice, relaxing, calm calm day where I play Jump King and talk to you and talk to my degenerates and show how I don't get angry at games. There are actually legitimately so few games that have actually made me rage. And so few games even that I've raged quit. Yeah, that sounds game. That sounds game. That sounds game. So you're saying that would be a good idea? Because I agree. I agree. Plus technically, and this kind of a little. Plus technically, while playing Jump King, I could still technically talk with you guys because it's not like it's an action-packed game all the time that I need to pay attention to. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to be honest. I technically have played Jump King already. I've played Jump King a bit. I think I have maybe 12 hours on record. But I've made literally no progress. I've played that game for 12 hours and I've owned that game for over a year. And I've not made any progress. I'm still basically at the start. I'm still basically at the start. Yeah. So honestly, even though I've played the game a lot, well, not a lot, 12 hours worth, but even though I've played the game, I would not mind throwing myself all the way down to the beginning, which isn't hard, and then playing it with you guys, like playing it on stream. Yeah. Maybe next week. We'll see. Maybe next week. We'll see. I kind of do want to do that. Yeah. Because Jump King is a fun game, I'll admit. But yeah. And then, maybe when we get deeper into the spooky season, we can play some horror games. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I think actually speaking about going on with the cat Mario thing, I technically have played a Mario game that was supposed to be ragey, but I didn't rage, and it was I didn't beat it either, but I didn't rage. So that's a win. I think it was, oh gosh, it's been so long since I've thought about that game. What was it called? It was called what was it called? It was like a rage game. It was like specifically trying to be a rage game. Oh, Unfair Mario. That's the name of it. Unfair Mario. Yeah. I think it's a very old game at this point. A very old game on the internet. Unfair Mario. Yeah. I played that game. Didn't rage. Didn't win either, but I played it. I will try my best to turn the horror game funny. Yeah. I don't really yeah. I'm sure we can have a funny, fun a funny, fun laugh time. That did not make sense. A funny, fun, chill time. Yeah. Yeah. Like, sure, in the game we might be trapped in a haunted house with a guy trying to murder us and put us on a meat hook. But, but, but it's a fun time. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. I can't actually imagine you angry. Your voice is too soothing. What does angry you sound like? Fun. That's actually so crazy and funny that you say that, because it's actually not the first time that I've been told that. I've been told that by many people that they can't imagine me actually getting angry. They can't actually imagine me getting like pissed. And that's because that's because one, I don't really get angry like at all, really. It takes like a lot to actually make me angry. And what does angry me sound like? It kind of, see, here's the thing. I can't yell, so I'm not really loud per se. when I'm angry, it's kind of more like literally if I try and yell, yeah, it just doesn't, it doesn't come out. Although, well, technically, I have been furious before. I technically have been furious before, and it's just kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like, it's kind of like, yeah. It's like the complete opposite of like calm and collected, I guess, but it takes like so much to actually get me to that point. It takes a lot to actually make me upset and angry in general. Yeah. But yeah. Oh. But yeah. Yeah. I remember, I actually remember something someone told me, like in high school. I remember something someone told me in high school was that I seemed like the kind of person that, like, this is going to sound crazy. This is going to sound like quite the hypothetical, but like somebody once told me that I seemed like the kind of person that you could someone could that a Molotov or something, or a grenade could like drop close to me and I wouldn't even panic, apparently. Apparently my demeanor is so calm and chill most days that, yeah. Yeah. You're not the first person to say that, Pancakey. You're not the first person to say that you can't imagine me angry. But yeah, yeah. I'm going to look at possibly more horror games, because I kind of do want to play some horror games with you guys when the spooky season really starts to come around, and have a very calm time. Yeah. A very calm, fun, not at all scary or heart-stopping time. Yeah. It's like no. It's like, no, this isn't a haunted house, this is a paradise. It's like, it's like, no, that guy that's trying to it's like, no, that guy that's trying to skin me alive doesn't. Wait, I meant, no, that guy with a chainsaw and a meat hook doesn't want to skin me alive and hang me. Maybe he just wants a big hug. Maybe. I feel like you'd stumble over your words, then get passive aggressive. I mean, maybe. Well, I guess maybe. You know, to an extent. You know, if I get really upset and stuff like that, maybe. I suppose maybe. I'm not sure. It's been, you know, now that I think about it, it's actually been a while since I've gotten angry. Actually, it's been a while since I've actually raged. Yeah, I could never play a. I could never. This is random. I could never play a barbarian in like Dungeons and Dragons or something. I can never play like a barbarian. Because literally a barbarian's whole thing is like rage. Like rage, rage, rage. I am fury incarnate. Yeah, I could, yeah. Yeah, like fury incarnate. Rage. Blood pressure times 1,000. Yeah. Like on the verge of a heart attack. Yeah. I could never play a barbarian. But yeah. Imagine a calm barbarian. Imagine a calm, collected barbarian. Barbarian. Just instead of screaming at the top of his lungs, it's like as he rushes into battle. Yeah. Anyway, what was I going on about? What was I going on about? Oh yeah, horror games and things like that. Raging. There was only one game that I remember that in recent times that did genuinely upset me, like very much so. Like I genuinely rage quit that game and have absolutely no intentions of ever touching that game ever again or any other game in that series. Like that's how much it made me angry. And it was the like I genuinely, because I can't get angry, because I can't get angry really all that much. I'm going to use this other VTuber raging as an example because I'm going to be honest, it wasn't really that different from it. like literally when I was playing this game, it was I literally had the same reaction as, like, for those of you that know Numi, yeah, when Numi played I don't know if any of you have seen that stream, but Numi, another VTuber, she played Cookie Mama on PC, I think, during No Nut November. And yeah, and it was like, and it was literally like, I remember she was like raging so hard at that game. Literally her reaction at one point was literally the same that I was basically feeling at, like, when I quit this game, and like rage quit this game and never touched it again, uninstalled it that same day and everything. Where literally Numi was like, yes, no, yes, no, dang it. Dang it. It's like, come on, come on. I hate this game. This game freaking sucks. This game freaking sucks. This game freaking sucks. Why? Why can't I be done? It was literally like that. It was literally like that. It was the game. And you know what's so funny is that the game is actually beloved by a lot of people. But it was like too many things that got on my nerves that eventually pushed me to like not like the game and quit it. It was Dead Rising. Yeah. I'm sorry to anybody that loves Dead Rising. It was Dead Rising 1 specifically. The one that takes place in like a mall. Yeah, it was that one. It was that one. It was that game. And it was a lot of things. I'm too much of a scaredy cat. Oh, what, for a horror game? For a horror game? Yeah, well, I'm not the bravest, I would say. But I'd like to think that I can do it. Especially if it's during the day. At night and with all the lights turned off, who knows? But, but during the day, I mean, I can do it. I can do it. No problem. No problem whatsoever. But yeah. But yeah, it was that game. It was Dead Rising 1 that got me like that. That had me like genuinely enraged. It's because there was a lot of things about that game. Like, there's a lot of things about that game. It was like the game itself. It was like the game itself and just a lot of things. Like it was like have any of you played Dead Rising at all? Do any of you know Dead Rising at all? Cause see, if I start talking about things and you guys don't know Dead Rising and you guys don't know Dead Rising, it might sound confusing. So have any of you played Dead Rising? Because I'm not sure. But yeah, it was a lot of things. It was so many things. Never again. Never again. But apart from that game, I honestly have not raged at another game that I can remember, at least. I haven't played it, but I can look it up. Oh, it's like a zombie game tip. It's like Dead Rising 1. Well, technically all the Dead Risings. Dead Rising 1 is it's a zombie game, essentially. It's a zombie survival game, but it's kind of like the thing that really made Dead Rising popular and really made it unique in comparison to all other games at the time. Because at the time there was like Left 4 Dead and like Dead Island and things like that. The thing that separated this from those was the fact that you could like use anything as a weapon, pretty much, to defend yourself. You could use a shop, and then because you were in a mall, you could use anything, really, like a shopping cart, a knife, a coffee machine, a chair, a golf club, a mannequin. Like, you technically could use practically anything. That's what made it unique. That's what made it liked, and what really kind of cemented it in like zombie game history. But there are a couple things that that kind of, yeah, it was too much for me. For one, for one, right? For one, I really, 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 really did not like. I really did not like the fact that you see there's kind of huh? That sounds fun. What put you off? Well, let me tell you, Tip. The things that really upset me were, like I said, many things. Firstly, when you play inside firstly, the mall is split into two different areas. And there's kind of like a center area where it's kind of like there's trees and kind of like it's kind of almost like a park in the center of like the mall, kind of. And you have to cross through there to actually get to the other part of the mall. Like you could originally go from point A, from one part of the mall to the other part of the mall indoors, but it's like blockaded on all sides because of the zombie apocalypse. So you have to go through the center. And the thing is, in the center, it's littered with zombies. Littered with zombies. And it's like there's also a band of escaped convicts in the center. And they're driving a Jeep, and they have guns, and they have like weapons like bats and stuff like that. And literally, you know, like every time I would have to cross through there, it's like the second you go out there to the center, they immediately like head straight for you, and they'll run you over. Oh, and they'll run you over, and they'll attack you, and they'll basically try and make it getting from point A to point B a lot harder, while also kind of giving like hurting you. So like if you take too many hits, you'll just die right there. So I would have to get from point A to point B. Keep in mind, like I said, it's filled with zombies. So I'm fighting away the zombies, trying to clear through. They come along, absolutely just like, you know, beating, like absolutely just take my like half of my health away. Because sometimes I would get away, but I wouldn't get away unscathed. And yeah, there's that. There's that. And I know what you're thinking. Well, you probably have to use projectiles to get them, though, right? Well, yeah, but there's like none. At least like how far I went into the game, there was like none. So, yeah, and they have projectiles because they and full-on weapons, so it doesn't matter. They're gonna get you either way. Yeah. So that was the first gripe, the first little thing, which I didn't mind all too much. I just had to be careful, but still, it was annoying. And then the second thing was, you know, I never understood why people were against when you call it I never understood why people were against what is it, escort missions until I played this game. I never understood why people didn't like escort missions in games until I played this game. There are so many escort missions in this game, and the NPCs have a death wish. The NPCs are slow. They can barely defend themselves, so you have to babysit them throughout the entire thing. And then the thing is, you have to get them back to like the starting area where you started, which is literally on one corner of the mall in like point A. Like the first side of the mall, it's like all the way in like the corner. So like let's say you're inside, so like let's say you're like in the second side, you have to go and escort them and defend them all the way through the second part, through the center part with all the zombies and the guys riding and the convicts riding around in jeeps, and then the first part just to get them back to like the beginning part where you started. that can get quite tiresome. And then the thing that I didn't like is I'm kind of not necessarily a completionist, but I like to experience as much content as I can when I play a game. And the thing is, all these escort missions and all these like missions to like help NPCs in general, like save them and stuff, they're all timed. They're all timed. So like, so like, and they're constantly coming in. So like sometimes I would get a message like, oh, this person is in side A, or whatever, and there's like 3 minutes. I try and get there, but because there's so many zombies, I get distracted and stuff. And then I get there, and it's just like, and I get there, and oh no, I ran out of time. The mission's gone. The NPC's still there, but I can't help them anymore because the time limit is now gone. Keep in mind that time limit is not. Keep in mind that time limit is not to like get to them. It's literally a time limit to get to them and take them all the way back to the beginning where you started. Like I said, like the place where it's safe. Yeah. There's that. There's that. That really got on my nerves. And then the final thing that really made me uninstall the game was that I was playing the game, and it had two options. It had save and exit, and save and continue or something like that. I picked save and continue because I thought, oh, I want to continue playing the game, so I'm going to save progress here and continue playing the game. That's not what it meant. Save and continue meant keep the items you had, but start all the way from the beginning of the game. And yeah, that was the final straw. That was the final straw. I uninstalled the game and never played it again. Yeah. And yeah. Not only that, but some of the missions were very repetitive as well. And that's kind of also played into why I didn't really like the game and why I got angry at it and all that. Quite unfortunate, really. But yeah, that was the reason why, Tib. That's the reason why. Yeah. But yeah. This was fun. This was fun. This was but yeah. Anyway, this was fun. I think I think we'll call it here. I think we'll call it here for today. I had a fun time. We talked about a lot of things. We went over a lot of things. But as always, I appreciate all of you being here. Those of you those of you who showed up. Those of you who are here. Yeah. And I hope you had a fun time too. Yeah. I'll be back next week, hopefully. I need to figure out why my model was so jittery today. Way more than usual. Like, it was really jittery. Unless it literally just looks like that in OBS. I don't think it's because I don't think it's because I now have two monitors, which, by the way, I now have two monitors. Yeah, I managed to get two monitors now. And it's still a little bit of a learning curve, but yeah. I don't think it's because of that, though. But yeah. I managed to get the second monitor hooked up. But yeah. I hope that I'll see you guys next week and later on, or whenever I release a new video or short or what have you, or community post or what have you. Yeah. Bye everybody, and have a plaptastic, fantabulistic day. Yeah. Bye, everybody. Bye, 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 bye.